becoming a theme. Yeah, I like this way of opening the videos. It's fun. So I've got a kind of counter thing on my channel where I can see where the majority of my views are coming from, like the countries that you guys are living in. It only does the top 9 for some reason. Unsurprisingly, the majority of my views come from the UK. Second in line is the United States. Third is Germany. I didn't see that coming, actually. I was kind of surprised when I saw that. But hey, that's nice. Isn't that nice? Germany. Yay. Fourth is Canada. And you've got Australia, Brazil, Poland, Austria, and Ireland. We're going to be moving around a lot this video, I think. I'm feeling in a very dynamic mood. I've been thinking a lot about America recently because one of the modules I'm taking this year for English Lit is called Writing America. Subtitle Ethnicity, Identity, Nationality, I think is the catchy tagline there. I've always been kind of interested in American culture, like Jess said in her video, the way that American culture is different from English culture, British culture. I guess I've just been thinking more recently about beginnings of countries like America, like Australia, like Canada, countries that were colonised, that were basically invaded. Yeah, my Writing America module has made me think a lot more about that, and like multiculturalism and all the different kinds of people that make up a country. And multiculturalism is kind of the thing, one of the things definitely that I like the most about the UK, especially places like London, which is, what is it, the melting pot of the world, I think is its, like, one of its titles. And it makes me think about America, which is made almost entirely from immigrants, isn't it? Forced and willing, you know, including, you know, people who came over like pilgrims and stuff, and also, you know, slaves who were forced to come over and, you know, be slaves. We're learning about America and, you know, what it's, all the different demographics and all the different kind of viewpoints and cultures that make up this huge country. I can never quite get in my head just how big America is. And it makes me wonder what it is to be American, because I'm English / British, and I'm never going to know what it's like to be an American, what it's like to grow up in America. And as for the English / British thing, this is a question for the majority of my viewers, which apparently come from the same place as me. Do you identify yourself as English or British? Or if you live in, you know, other parts of the UK, identify as Welsh, Scottish, Irish? What? Because I always think I prefer to identify as British. I can't understand what it's like to be an American because I don't even know what it's like to be, you know, Welsh, let's say, or Scottish. The only viewpoint I really understand is my own. And that is a southwestern, well-off, white girl, really. I'm not going to know what it's like to be a poor Scottish guy, let's say. I think I tend to be baffled by American culture, because I feel like there are some parts of it that I understand, like from TV and from movies and books and stuff, because a lot of, you know, modern culture is seen from an American point of view because it's one of the most powerful nations and one of the, you know, richest and one of the biggest. And then there are some parts that are just completely alien to me. Things like the religious fervour, I guess, the kind of really almost blind patriotism in some cases. There's some parts that's just so mad. And there are some things that are alien in other senses, like little things, tiny things. Things like the way that supermarkets look. I've noticed that supermarkets from country to country look, and occasionally even smell, kind of different. They're just set out in a different way, and maybe just little things that are barely noticeable, but when they're new to you, when they're different, they're hugely noticeable. Things like the adverts on TV, and the snacks, and the cereal. And then there are other countries that were kind of colonised by things like the British Empire, like Australia, like South Africa. They're just, you know, they don't get as much attention because I don't think they're as loud and dramatic as the US is. I don't know anywhere near as much about them because they're not, you know, as present, I guess, on the world stage, if that's even a phrase. One of my best friends, Kerry, she's South African, and her way of seeing things is different to the way I see things. And I don't think it's a personal thing, I think it is a genuinely South African national thing. And there are, you know, small differences as well, like the way that she calls barbecues braais. And she showed me this DVD of a South African comedian whose name I can't remember, where, you know, a good section of it was just, I didn't even understand a word he was saying, and she was pissing herself laughing. She understood everything. And I know that I have, you know, what was your name? Hang on. Hey, it's Philosophy, I want to say. I'll put the name down here, but That person said that they were from Australia in one of my last videos, and I know barely anything about Australia other than the fact that there are, there's Sydney, which has the opera house shaped like orange slices, and there's Melbourne, there's Perth, and then in the middle there's a great big stretch of what is, mostly in my head anyway, pretty much empty. But yeah, that's my knowledge of Australia, which is appalling and based on, stereotypes galore. But I wanted to leave this video with a question to you, wherever you're from, be it, Canada, Germany, Austria, the US, wherever. Are there any kind of national moods, I guess, myths? I'll start you off. So in England, a cup of tea will solve all your problems. And that's obviously not true for everyone, because I know people who don't even like tea, but it is a big national thing. And things like, a general air of gloom and kind of that whole expression thing, that seems intrinsically British to me. So yeah, wherever you're from, national myths and moods, go.